Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this week we have news about the side loading that's finally coming to iOS. Also, we'll talk about the Apple Vision Pro launch, iPhone 16 upgrades, and much more. This is your weekly Apple News update for the week of January 15th, 2024. Now, today in the USA is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, where his legacy is honored, and to celebrate, Apple actually has a tribute on their webpage. If you go to apple.com, this is the first thing you'll see, and it says, "Because of our involvement in humanity, we must be concerned about every human being." If you scroll down a little bit, you'll actually get the option to download the Essential Martin Luther King Jr. for free. So that's actually a book you can get on Apple Books if you want to check it out and read it now. So that's something they're offering right now. Just go to the site and you can get it yourself if you want to check it out. Apple has a team working on Siri who will apparently have to relocate to Austin, Texas, or they may have to find employment elsewhere. This was first announced by Mark Gurman at Bloomberg in his Power On newsletter. However, Mac Rumors was able to obtain a statement directly from Apple, and what they said is, "We're bringing our data operations annotations team in the US together at our campus in Austin, where a majority of the team is already based," an Apple spokesperson said. "Everyone currently employed will have the opportunity to continue their role with Apple in Austin. We are deeply committed to San Diego, where we have grown significantly and are continuing to hire as we expand our world-class engineering teams." So it looks like just some is relocating. Of course, there's changes with AI and more expected to come to Siri very soon. There was an unfortunate event last week where a Boeing 737 MAX aircraft actually lost its door, but thankfully landed without any issues with passengers, and at the same time, different devices were thrown from the plane. Later in the week, Jonathan Bates on X actually found an iPhone that had fallen from the plane unharmed on the side of the road after surviving a 16,000-foot drop. Some people have said this is a Spigen case that actually saved it with a screen protector, but it's incredible that it still works. Now, we've had MagSafe since iPhone 12, which allows you to charge using a MagSafe charger that's magnetic that aligns the actual charging coils. However, an early prototype design for MagSafe was shown online by leaker Kosutami earlier this week, which showed what it could have been. I think they made the right choice with this current design, but let me know which one you like best in the comments below. And if you're looking for a charger on the go for yourself that features MagSafe compatibility, that's where today's sponsor comes in, Anker. This is their new MagGo wireless charging station that offers an ultra-compact 3-in-1 design that folds up to provide 3 different charging pads, including Apple Watch. It also supports Qi 2 support. So this is something I actually used at CES all week. It's super convenient, folds up nicely, and also includes a 90-degree power angle USB-C, as well as the charger to go along with it. I used it to charge all my devices on the go. It was super convenient. It allowed for things such as standby mode. And if we go ahead and place the iPhone on here, let it lock, it goes into standby mode and charges. We can place our AirPods as well, and then place our Apple Watch, as this is a made for Apple Watch certified charger, meaning it will utilize fast charging, about 47% on a Series 9 Apple Watch in 30 minutes. The MagGo charging station allows you to charge your iPhone as fast as Apple's own MagSafe chargers too. If you'd like to check out the Anker MagGo wireless charging station, be sure to check out the link in the description below. Apple sent out an email this week celebrating 10 games that actually have been on the App Store for 10 years. If you tap on Explore the Games, you'll see them here, where they actually have a separate page for them with things such as Geometry Dash Lite, Real Racing 3, and more. So let me know if you've played any of these in the comments below. Now, Tim Cook met with the head of European Union antitrust at Apple Park this past week. The meeting was actually to discuss third-party app stores, their disagreement with it, sideloading, among other concerns with NFC, taxes, and more. Also, Tim Cook received less pay this year, which was down by about a third, from $99.4 million in 2022 to $63.2 million in 2023, according to an SEC statement given to shareholders. I'll link some of these in the description if you want to check them out. Apple's got a couple board members set to retire, since they have a clause that says anyone over the age of 75 cannot serve on the board. That means Al Gore and James Bell are set to retire, and Apple has nominated Dr. Wanda Austin to be an upcoming board member. Apple actually says Wanda has spent decades advancing technology on behalf of humanity, and we're thrilled to welcome her to Apple's board of directors, said Tim Cook, Apple's CEO. Also, to go along with this, Apple's next shareholder meeting is on February 28th, 2024. So maybe we'll see events after that, after the launch of Apple Vision Pro. Apple this week was bested by Microsoft as the world's most valuable company, but then by the close of the market, Apple had reclaimed the spot from Microsoft. However, at the time of writing the notes for this video, both companies were sitting equal at $2.89 trillion in market cap, so they're going back and forth. Now there's some breaking news regarding the Apple Watch Series 9 and Apple Watch Ultra 2 that I have here. Apparently Apple is shipping a new version which actually has software that disables the pulse oximetry sensor, or the O2 sensor. This is to comply with rulings so Apple can continue to sell it in the United States. The good news, of course, is Apple is not shipping that software and disabling it on the current models that already have it. So it's just models being sold new in the United States, and maybe I'll get my hands on one to see if it's actually disabled, if it has the sensor or not. There's a lot of unanswered questions about this, but until Apple can resolve it, they'll have to ship it without that sensor enabled. So hopefully we'll see some changes where they can just re-enable it, but don't worry, it shouldn't disable the ones you actually have if you already own one. So that's not really a concern here. However, there is some news also that it looks like Apple was trying to make a black or maybe dark titanium version of the Apple Watch Ultra. This year, we had heard in rumors that the Apple Watch Ultra 2 would come in sort of a black finish, and Apple never shipped it. However, recently, Donglebook Pro shared what looks to be a watch band that Apple was going to ship with dark titanium sort of bands or connectors on the end. So everything from the part that connects to the watch itself to the ends that clasp together looks like it was a dark titanium finish. Maybe they didn't ship it because of concerns of it maybe scuffing like my iPhone has. So if you have maybe one of the phones that's not the natural titanium and you drop it or bump it into something, you could take the finish right off of it. Maybe they were running into problems with that. We don't really know, but it looks like they were in fact getting ready to ship one. Maybe we'll see one this year. But either way, I'm glad Apple can continue selling the Apple Watch Ultra 2 and Apple Watch Series 9. Now, as far as sideloading, that's something many people have been asking me. The App Store is actually said to be split in two, according to Mark Gurman, who shared what to expect in his Power On newsletter. The App Store currently is going to have to change since there's new laws in the EU that say that Apple has to open it up to third-party apps and app stores. This means that just in the European Union, we could see as soon as March them open this up and allow for some sort of sideloading. How this would work exactly, we're not sure. We'll get more details soon, but it could be with something such as iOS 17.4. Unfortunately, it won't be available around the world and seems to be only for the EU. But it doesn't mean you'd have to use it. You could just use the regular App Store as well. Let me know what you think about this in the comments below, but it seems like it's going to be in the next versions of the betas when they come out. As far as iOS 17.3, we can expect Beta 4 or the release candidate as soon as tomorrow. That's typically what we see every year. Probably on Tuesday or Wednesday, we'll have that final version, maybe with a public release on the 22nd, which is next Monday. That's typically what Apple does. It makes a lot of sense, and that's what I would expect. It could be the 29th, but I would expect it the 22nd. Last year, we only had 2 betas then in RC with iOS 16.3. So far, we haven't seen any mention of iOS 17.2.2 in the codes anywhere on any website analytics, so I wouldn't expect that release. It looks like Apple's waiting maybe until next week with iOS 17.3. We'll gain some new features with security, as well as collaborative playlists and much more, and maybe some bug fixes and more. Now, as far as deals this week, there's actually some pretty good ones, and one of them is on the Apple Watch Series 9, starting at $329, sold from Apple on Amazon. Also, AirPods Pro 2 are still only $189, sold from Apple on Amazon. Beats Studio Pro are actually down to $179, so if you want to pick these up, they're pretty reasonable right now. And iPad 9th and 10th gen are down to, well, $249 and $349, depending on which version. Also, MacBook Air is $250 off for the M2 variant. So if you're looking for the latest MacBook Air, there's a pretty good deal going on as far as that goes. Now, Apple Vision Pro pre-orders start very soon. If we go back over to apple.com and we go to Vision, you'll see here in the menu, you can see all about it. And there's some more details that have come out. The pre-order starts on 1/19, or this coming Friday at 5 a.m. Pacific time or 8 a.m. Eastern time, and it says it's available starting on February 2nd. So it will start being available that day. Now, during this pre-order process, this could be a bit of an issue, as Apple's going to use devices with Face ID to scan your face and head size to provide the proper light seal and also a headband for your head. So that's something that's a little bit different than other pre-orders. I don't know if you'll just be able to select something and hope to get through in pre-order, but also Apple is apparently giving demos starting on February 2nd as well, the day it launches in the store. Now, if you do sign up for a demo, Apple will provide the same sort of face scans to match you with that sort of light seal and headband, and could spend up to 25 minutes walking you through a demo of the device itself. So that's something that we're going to see very, very soon. Also, to prepare for Apple Vision Pro, there's a new cabinet being placed at the end of tables in some Apple stores, and I don't think this looks very good, honestly. The table isn't the right height, it doesn't really match the aesthetic properly, so hopefully they come up with some other solution very soon. Also, Ming-Chi Kuo said that we can expect Apple Vision Pro to be in very short supply, as they're only expecting about 80,000 devices available for pre-order. So hopefully there's more than that, but maybe that many people is what they're expecting to order. We'll probably get an initial boom of people like myself ordering it for reviews and more, and then it will maybe slow down. Also, the Vision Pro is expected to have 16 gigabytes of RAM and start with just 256 gigabytes of storage. It could have up to 1 terabyte, however, we won't know that until the pre-orders actually live. We also heard from Mark Gurman that it has the M2 chipset in it, so the same chipset that's in my iPad Pro. It has that chipset, but the higher end variant with 8-core CPU and 10-core GPU. So a little bit of odd questions we still have about the Apple Vision Pro that we won't know until the pre-orders are actually live. However, we do know what comes in the box with it. Apple's actually stated, and we have more information. So of course you're going to get the headset, so the headset itself. You'll of course get the connector and the battery pack, a solo knit band and dual loop band, as well as 2 different light seals, a polishing cloth. So I don't know if it's the same polishing cloth we can already get for the Pro display or others outside of maybe buying a display. It'll also have a protective cover for the front glass, as well as the USB-C power adapter and charging cable. There's also supposedly going to be 150 3D movies and games available very, very soon. However, there's some news that isn't so great, was the keyboard actually that you're going to use when you're actually touch typing. You'll probably want to get yourself a MagSafe keyboard to use with it if you don't have one already, as apparently you can only press one button at a time in visionOS 1.0, so it seems to be fairly limited. Hopefully they'll update that in the future very quickly with the next version. But either way, you'll be able to use it, just have to press it one at a time or use your voice. Now, as far as iPhone 16, we're hearing a little bit more information about the base version and the Pro versions. We've heard a lot about the iPhone 16 Pro and Pro Max, but the base models are said to be bumped up to 8 gigs of RAM in 2024. This time around, this is from analyst Jeff Poo, who said they're bringing 8 gigs to all models, which makes sense if it's going to get the chipset from the Pros currently, or something else entirely, maybe an A18 and an A18 Pro for the Pro models. Additionally, there's more information about the Pro versions of the iPhone 16. This week, again, the same analyst, Jeff Poo, said that they're upgrading the Qualcomm Snapdragon modem to the X75 modem, but it will only be in the Pro models. It brings carrier aggregation updates and even faster speeds than what we got with the iPhone 15 models. So of course that's always welcome if we get better connectivity and faster speeds, but it looks like it may not come to the regular models this year. Apple also continues to work on the physical design of the next iPhones, and this time Mac Rumors has said that the updated design of the action button more matches what we've currently already got. Apple continues to change the design to get it ready for production later this year, so I would expect probably more changes with the buttons. We were supposed to get haptic feedback buttons that weren't physical last year, and they changed it at the last minute. So maybe they're figuring out that design this year. iPad Pro with the 12.9-inch, or what's said to be the 13-inch coming up, is said to be at least $1,500, maybe $1,800 to start. That seems awful expensive, as it's said to get an OLED display, but it wouldn't surprise me if Apple bumps the price of everything this time around. It should be a little bit thinner and go up to maybe $2,000 or maybe even $2,500 with the 2 terabyte option. We don't really know until, of course, they announce it, but right now it's rumored that it's said to get a lot more expensive. Not just this size, but the other sizes offered as well. Hopefully it offers some more functionality as far as iPadOS, and we see a revamp of that with iOS 18 this year as well. And so that's everything. Of course, we're expecting new AirPods and more. I've talked about that in other videos, but lots of things to expect with Apple Vision Pro. We'll get some more questions answered on Friday when it goes available for pre-order. And of course, once it's released, we'll know everything about it. Let me know what you'd like to see in these weekly update videos with the news and more, and if you'd like to see deals or anything different that I haven't talked about in the past. I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do, and if you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.